The Lark Ascending, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. He rises and begins to round. He drops the silver chain of sound, of many links, without a break, in chirrup, whistle, slur, and shake, all intervolved and spreading wide, like water dimples down a tide, where ripple over curls, and eddy into eddy whirls, a press of hurried notes that run, so fleet they scarce are more than one, yet changingly the trills repeat, and linger ringing while they fleet. Sweet to the quick o'er the ear, and dear to her beyond the handmaid ear, who sits beside our inner springs, too often dry for this he brings, which seems the very jet of earth, at sight of sun her music's mirth, as up he wings the spiral stair, a song of light, and pierces air, with fountain ardor, fountain play, to reach the shining tops of day, and drink in everything discerned, an ecstasy to music turned, impelled by what his happy bill disperses, drinking, showering still, unthinking save that he may give his voice the outlet there to live, renewed in endless notes of glee, so thirsty of his voice is he, for all to hear and all to know that he is joy, awake, aglow, the tumult of the heart to hear, through pureness filtered crystal clear, and know the pleasure sprinkled bright by simple singing of delight, shrill, irreflective, unrestrained, rapt, ringing on the jet sustained, without a break, without a fall, sweet, silvery, sheer, lyrical, perennial, quavering up the chord, like myriad dews of sunny sward, that trembling into fullness shine, and sparkle dropping argentine, such wooing as the ear receives from zephyr caught in choric leaves of aspens when their chattering net is flushed to white with shivers wet, and such the water spirits chime on mountain heights in morning's prime, too freshly sweet to seem excess, to animate, to need a stress, but wider over many heads the starry voice ascending spreads, awakening as it waxes thin, the best in us to him akin, and every face to watch him raised puts on the light of children praised. So rich our human pleasure ripes when sweetness on sincereness pipes, though not be promised from the seas, but only a soft ruffling breeze, sweep glittering on a still content, serenity in ravishment, for singing till his heaven fills, 'tis love of earth that he instills, and ever winging up and up, our valley is his golden cup, and he the wine which overflows, to lift us with him as he goes, the woods and brooks, the sheep and kine, he is the hills, the human line, the meadows green, the fallows brown, the dreams of labor in the town. He sings the sap, the quickened veins, the wedding song of sun and rains. He is the dance of children, thanks, of sower's shout, of primrose banks, and eye of violets while they breathe. All these the circling song will wreathe, and you shall hear the herb and tree, the better heart of men shall see, shall feel celestially as long as you crave nothing save the song. Was never voice of ours could say our inmost in the sweetest way, like yonder voice aloft and link all hearers in the song they drink. Our wisdom speaks from failing blood, our passion is too full in flood. We want the key of his wild note, of truthful in a tuneful throat, the song seraphilically free of taint of personality, so pure that it salutes the suns, the voice of one for millions, in whom the millions rejoice, for giving their one spirit voice. Yet men have we, whom we revere, now names and men still housing here, whose lives by many a battle dint, defaced and grinding wheels on flint, yield substance, though they sing not, sweet, for song our highest heaven to greet, whom heavenly singing gives us new, and spheres them brilliant in our blue, from firmest base to farthest leap, because their love of earth is deep, and they are warriors in accord, with life to serve and pass reward, so touching purest, and so heard in the brain's reflex of you bird, wherefore their soul in me or mine, through self-forgetfulness divine, in them that song aloft maintains, to fill the sky and thrill the plains, with showerings drawn from human stores, as he to silence nearer soars, extends the world at wings and dome, more spacious making more our home, till lost on aerial rings, in light, and then the fancy sings. George Meredith. End of poem. Into the Twilight, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Outworn heart, in a time outworn, come clear of the nets of wrong and right. Laugh, heart, again in the gray twilight. Sigh, heart, again in the dew of the morn. Your mother ire is always young, dew ever shining and twilight gray. Though hope fall from you and love decay, burning in fires of a slanderous tongue, come heart where hill is heaped upon hill, for there the mystical brotherhood of sun and moon, and hollow and wood, and river and stream work out their will, and God stands winding his lonely horn, and time and the world are ever in flight, and love is less kind than the gray twilight, and hope is less dear than the dew of the morn. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. By a BIER-SIDE, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. This is a sacred city built of marvelous earth. Life was lived nobly here to give such beauty birth. Beauty was in this brain and in this eager hand. Death is so blind and dumb, death does not understand. Death drifts the brain with dust and soils the young limbs' glory. Death makes justice a dream and strength a traveler's story. Death drives the lovely soul to wander under the sky. Death opens unknown doors. It is most grand to die. John Masefield. End of poem. "'Tis but a week." Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 'Tis but a week since down the glen the trampling horses came, 100 fighting men, with all their spears aflame. They laughed and clattered as they went, and round about their way the blackbirds sang with one consent, in the green leaves of May. Never again shall I see them pass, they'll come victorious never. Their spears are withered all as grass, their laughter's laid forever. And where they clattered as they went, and where their hearts were gay, the blackbirds sing with one consent, in the green leaves of May. Gerald Gold. End of poem. I love all beauteous things. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I love all beauteous things. I seek and adore them. God hath no better praise, and man in his hasty days is honored for them. I too will something make, and joy in the making, although tomorrow it seem like the empty words of a dream, remembered on waking. Robert Bridges. End of poem. All Flesh. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I do not need the skies' pomp when I would be wise, for pleasance, nor to use heaven's champagne when I muse. One grass blade in its veins wisdom's whole flood contains. Thereon my foundering mind Odyssean fate can find. O, little blade, now vaunt thee, and be arrogant. Tell the proud sun that he sweated in shaping thee. Night, that she did unvest her mooned and argent breast, to suckle thee. Heaven fain yearned over thee in rain, and with wide parent wing shadowed thee, nested thing, feed thee, and slaved for thy impotent tyranny. Nature's broad thews bent, meek for thy content, mastering littleness, which the wise heavens confess, the frailty which doth draw magnipotence to its law. These were, O happy one, these, thy laughing puissance. Be confident of thought, seeing that thou art not, and be thy pride all delectably safe and small. Epitomized in thee was the mystery which shakes the spheres conjoint. God focuses to a point. All thy fine mouse shout scorn upon dull-eyed doubt. Impenetrable fool is he thou canst not school to the humility by which the angels see. Unfathomably framed, sister, I am not shamed. Before the cherubim to vaunt my flesh thy kin, my one hand thine, and one imprisoned in God's own. I am as God, alas! And such a God of grass, a little root clay caught, a wind, a flame of thought, inestimably not. Francis Thompson. End of poem. To a Snowflake. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. What heart could have thought you past our devisal, O filigree petal, fashioned so purely, fragilely, surely, from what paradisal, imagineless metal, too costly for cost? Who hammered you, wrought you, from argentine vapor? God was my shaper, passing surmisal, he hammered, he wrought me, from curled silver vapor, to lust of his mind. Thou couldst not have thought me, so purely, so palely, tinnily, surely, mightily, frailly, insculpted and embossed, with his hammer of wind, and his graver of frost. Francis Thompson. End of poem. To a Daisy. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Slight as thou art enough to hide, like all created things, secrets from me, and stand a barrier to eternity. And how can I praise thee well and wide, from where I dwell upon the hither side? Though little veil for so great mystery, when shall I penetrate all things and thee, and then look back? For this I must abide, till thou shalt grow and fold and be unfurled, literally between me and the world. Then I shall drink from in beneath a spring, and from a poet's side shall read his book. O Daisy mine, what will it be to look from God's side even of such a simple thing? Alice Meynell. End of poem. Lucifer in Starlight. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. On a starred night, Prince Lucifer uprose. Tired of his dark dominion, swung the fiend above the rolling ball in cloud part screened, where sinners hugged their scepter of repose. Poor prey to his hot fit of pride were those. And now upon his western wing he leaned, now his huge bulk o'er Afric's sands careened, now the black planet shadowed Arctic snows, soaring through wider zones that pricked his scars, with memory of the old revolt from awe. He reached a middle height, and at the stars, which are the brain of heaven, he looked and sank. Around the ancient track marched rank on rank the army of unalterable law. George Meredith. End of poem. The Celestial Surgeon. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. If I have faltered more or less in my great task of happiness, if I have moved among my race and shown no glorious morning face, if beams from happy human eyes have moved me not, if morning skies, books and my food, and summer rain knocked on my sullen heart in vain, Lord, thy most pointed pleasure take, and stab my spirit broad awake. Or, Lord, if too obdurate I, choose thou, before that spirit die, a piercing pain, a killing sin, and to my dead heart run them in. Robert Louis Stevenson. End of poem. The Kingdom of God, Poetry of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. In no strange land. O world invisible, we view thee. O world intangible, we touch thee. O world unknowable, we know thee. Inapprehensible, we clutch thee. Does the fish soar to find the ocean, the eagle plunge to find the air? That we ask of the stars in motion, if they have rumor of thee there. Not where the wheeling systems darken, and our benumbed conceiving soars. The drift of pinions, would we hearken, beats at our own clay-shuttered doors. The angels keep their ancient places, turn but a stone, and start a wing. 'Tis ye, 'tis your estranged faces, that miss the many splendored thing. But, when so sad thou canst not sadder, cry, and upon thy so sore loss shall shine the traffic of Jacob's ladder, pitched betwixt heaven and Charing Cross. Yea, in the night, my soul, my daughter, cry, clinging heaven by the hems, and lo, Christ walking on the water, not of Gennesarth, but Thames. Francis Thompson. End of poem. The Lady Poverty, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The Lady Poverty was fair, but she has lost her looks of late. With change of times and change of air, ah, slattern, she neglects her hair. Her gown, her shoes, she keeps no state, as once when her pure feet were bare. Or almost worse, if worse can be, she scolds in parlors, dusts and trims, watches and counts. Oh, is this she whom Francis met, whose step was free, who with obedience carolled hymns, in Umbria walked with chastity? Where is her ladyhood? Not here, not among modern kinds of men, but in the stony fields, where clear through the thin trees the skies appear, in delicate spare soil and fen, and slender landscape and austere. Alice Meynell. End of poem. Courtesy, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Of courtesy it is much less than courage of heart or holiness. Yet in my walks it seems to me that the grace of God is in courtesy. On monks I did in Storrington fall, they took me straight into their hall. I saw 3 pictures on a wall, and courtesy was in them all. The first the Annunciation, the second the Visitation, the third the Consolation of God that was Our Lady's Son. The first was of Saint Gabriel, on wings of flame from heaven he fell, and as he went upon one knee, he shone with heavenly courtesy. Our Lady out of Nazareth rode, it was her month of heavy load, yet was her face both great and kind, for courtesy was in her mind. The third it was our little Lord, whom all the kings in arms adored. He was so small you could not see his large intent of courtesy. Our Lord, that was Our Lady's Son, go bless you, people, one by one. My rhyme is written, my work is done. Hilaire Belloc. End of poem. MONTSERRAT, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Peace waits among the hills. I have drunk peace, here where the blue air fills the great cup of the hills, and fills with peace. Between the earth and sky, I have seen the earth, like a dark cloud go by, and fade out of the sky. There was no more earth. Here, where the Holy Grail brought secret light, once, from beyond the veil, I, seeing no Holy Grail, see divine light. Light fills the hills with God, wind with his breath, and here, in his abode, light, wind, and air praise God, and this poor breath. Author Symonds. End of poem. Prayers. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. God who created me, nimble and light of limb, in 3 elements free, to run, to ride, to swim, not when the sense is dim, but now from the heart of joy, I would remember him, take the thanks of a boy. Jesu, King and Lord, whose are my foes to fight. Gird me with thy sword, swift and sharp and bright. Thee would I serve if I might, and conquer if I can. From day dawn till night, take the strength of a man. Spirit of love and truth, breathing in gosser clay, the light and flame of youth, delight of men in the fray, wisdom in strength's decay, from pain, strife, wrong to be free. This best gift I pray, take my spirit to thee. Henry Charles Beeching. End of poem. The Shepherdess. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. She walks, the lady of my delight, a shepherdess of sheep. Her flocks are thoughts, she keeps them white. She guards them from the steep. She feeds them on the fragrant height, and folds them in for sleep. She roams maternal hills and bright, dark valleys safe and deep. Into that tender breast at night, the chastest stars may peep. She walks, the lady of my delight, a shepherdess of sheep. She holds her little thoughts in sight, though gay they run and leap. She is so circumspect and right, she has her soul to keep. She walks, the lady of my delight, a shepherdess of sheep. Alice Meynell. End of poem. Gibberish. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Many a flower have I seen blossom, many a bird for me will sing. Never heard I so sweet a singer, never saw I so fair a thing. She is a bird that blossoms. She is a flower that sings. And I a flower when I behold her, and when I hear her, I have wings. Mary E. Coleridge. End of poem. Martha. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Once upon a time, over and over again, Martha would tell us her stories in the hazel glen. Hers were those clear gray eyes. You watch, and the story seems told by their beautifulness, tranquil as dreams. She'd sit with her two slim hands clasped round her bended knees, while we on our elbows lolled and stared at ease. Her voice and her narrow chin, her grave, small, lovely head, seemed half the meaning of the words she said. Once upon a time, like a dream you dream in the night, fairies and gnomes stole out in the leaf green light, and her beauty far away would fade as her voice ran on, till hazel and summer sun and all were gone, all fordone and forgot, and like clouds in the height of the sky, our hearts stood still in the hush of an age gone by. Walter de la Mare. End of poem. A Friend. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. All that he came to give, he gave, and went again. I have seen one man live, I have seen one man reign, with all the graces in his train. As one of us, he wrought things of the common hour. Whence was the charmed soul brought, that gave each act such power, the natural beauty of a flower? Magnificence and grace, excellent courtesy, a brightness on the face, airs of high memory. Whence came all these to such as he? Like young Shakespearean kings, he won the adoring throng, and, as Apollo sings, he triumphed with a song. Triumphed and sang and passed along. With a light word he took the hearts of men in thrall, and, with a golden look, welcomed them at his call, giving their love, their strength, their all. No man less proud than he, nor cared for homage less, only he could not be far off from happiness. Nature was bound to his success. Weary the cares, the jars, the lets of every day, but the heavens filled with stars, chanced he upon the way, and where he stayed, all joy would stay. Now, when sad night draws down, when the austere stars burn, roaming the vast live town, my thoughts and memories yearn towards him who never will return. Yet have I seen him live, and owned my friend a king. All that he came to give, he gave, and I, who sing his praise, bring all I have to bring. Lionel Johnson. End of poem. Twilight, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Twilight it is, and the far woods are dim, and the rooks cry and call. Down in the valley the lamps, and the mist, and a star over all. There by the rick, where they thresh, is the drone at an end. Twilight it is, and I travel the road with my friend. I think of the friends who are dead, who were dear long ago in the past. Beautiful friends who are dead, though I know that death cannot last. Friends with beautiful eyes that the dust has defiled. Beautiful souls who were gentle when I was a child. John Masefield. End of poem. On the Death of Arnold Toynbee, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Goodbye, no tears nor cries are fitting here, and long lament were vain. Only the last low words be softly said, and the last greeting given above the dead. For soul more pure and beautiful our eyes never shall see again. Alas! What help is it, what consolation in this heavy chance, that to the blameless life so soon laid low? This was the end appointed long ago, this the allotted space, the measure fit, of endless ordinance. Thus were the ancient days, made like our own monotonous with grief. From unassuaged lips, even thus hath flown perpetually the immemorial moan of those that weeping went on desolate ways, nor found in tears relief. For faces yet grown pale, tears rise at fortune, and true hearts take fire in all who hear, with quickening pulses stroke, that cry that from the infinite people broke. When third among them Helen led the wail at Hector's funeral pyre, and by the Latin beach, at rise of dawn, such piteous tears were shed, when Troy and Arcady in long array followed the princely body on its way, and Lord Aeneas spoke the last sad speech above young Phallis dead. Even in this English clime, the same sweet cry no circling seas can drown, in melancholy cadence rose to swell some dirge of Lycidius or Astrophel, when lovely souls and pure before their time into the dusk went down. These earth, the bounteous nurse, hath long ago lapped in deep peace divine. Lips that made musical their old world woe, themselves have gone to silence long ago, and left a weaker voice and wearier verse, O royal soul, for thine. Beyond our life how far soars his new life through radiant orb and zone, while we in impotency of the night walk dumbly, and the path is hard and light fails, and for sun and moon the single star honor is left alone, the star that knows no set, but circles ever with a fixed desire, watching Orion's armor all of gold, watching and wearying not, till pale and cold dawn breaks, and the first shafts of morning fret the east with lines of fire. But on the broad low plain, when night is clear and windy with hard frost, such as had once the morning in their eyes, watching and wearying gaze upon the skies, and cannot see that star for their great pain, because the sun is lost. Alas! how all our love is scant at best to fill so ample room. Image and influence fall too fast away, and fading memory cries at dusk of day. Deem'st thou the dust reeks aught at all thereof? The ghost within the tomb. For even o'er lives like this, the slumberous river washes soft and slow, the lapping water rises wearily, numbing the nerve and will to sleep, and we before the goal and crown of mysteries fall back and dare not know. Only at times we know, in gyres convolved and luminous orbits whirled, the soul beyond her knowing seems to sweep out of the deep, fire winged, and into the deep. As two who loved each other here below, better than all the world, yet ever held apart, and never knew their own hearts' deepest things, after long lapse of periods, wandering far beyond the pathways of the furthest star, into communicable space might dart, with tremor of thunderous wings. Across the void might call, each unto each past worlds that raced and ran, and flash through galaxies, and clasp and kiss, in some slant chasm and infinite abyss, far in the faint sidereal interval between the lyre and swan. J. W. Mackail. End of poem. Estrangement. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. So without overt breach, we fall apart, tactily sunder, neither you nor I, conscious of one intelligible why, and both, from severance, winning equal smart. So, with resigned and acquiescent heart, where your name on some chance lip may lie, I seem to see an alien shade pass by, a spirit wherein I have no lot or part. Thus may a captive in some fortress grim, from casual speech betwixt his warders learn, that June on her triumphant progress goes, through arched and bannered woodlands, while for him she is a legend emptied of concern, and idle is the rumor of the rose. William Watson. End of poem. Fatherhood. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. A kiss, a word of thanks, away. They're gone, and you forsaken learn the blessedness of giving. They, so nature bids, forget, nor turn to where you sit and watch and yearn. And you, so nature bids, would go through fire and water for their sake. Rise early, late, take rest, to sow their wealth, and lie all night awake, if but their little finger ache. The storied prince with wondrous hair, which stole men's hearts and wrought his bale, rebelling since he had no heir, built him a pillar in the vale, Absalom's, lest his name should fail. It fails not, though the pillar lies in dust, because the outraged one, his father, with strong agonies, cried it until the day was done. O Absalom, my son, my son! So nature bade, or might it be, God, who in Jewry once, they say, cried with a great cry, Come to me, children, who still held on their way, though he spread out his hands all day. Henry Charles Beeching. End of poem. Daisy. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Where the thistle lifts a purple crown, 6 foot out of the turf, and the harebell shakes on the windy hill, oh, the breath of the distant surf. The hills look over on the south, and southward dreams the sea. And with the sea breeze hand in hand came innocence and she, where mid the gorse the raspberry, red for the gatherer springs, to children did we stray and talk wise idle childish things. She listened with big lip surprise, breast deep mid flower and spine. Her skin was like a grape whose veins run snow instead of wine. She knew not those sweet words she spake, nor knew her own sweet way. But there's never a bird so sweet a song thronged in whose throat that day. Oh, there were flowers in Storrington, on the turf and on the spray, but the sweetest flower on Sussex hills was the daisy flower that day. Her beauty smoothed earth's furrowed face, she gave me tokens 3, a look, a word of her winsome mouth, and a wild raspberry. A berry red, a guileless look, a still word, strings of sand, and yet they made my wild, wild heart fly down to her little hand. For standing artless as the air, and candid as the skies, she took the berries with her hand, and the love with her sweet eyes. The fairest things have fleetest end, their scent survives their close, but the rose's scent is bitterness to him that loved the rose. She looked a little wistfully, then went her sunshine way. The sea's eye had a mist on it, and the leaves fell from the day. She went her unremembering way, she went and left in me the pang of all the partings gone, and partings yet to be. She left me marveling why my soul was sad that she was glad at all the sadness in her sweet, the sweetness in the sad. Still, still I seem to see her, still look up with soft replies, and take the berries with her hand, and the love with her lovely eyes. Nothing begins and nothing ends that is not paid with moan, for we are born in others' pain, and perish in our own. Francis Thompson. End of poem. A Cradle Song. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. O men from the fields, come gently within. Tread softly, softly. O men coming in. Mavoureen is going from me and from you, where Mary will fold him with mantle of blue. From reek of the smoke, and cold of the floor, and the peering of things across the half door. O men from the fields, soft, softly come throw. Mary puts round him her mantle of blue. Padraic Colum. End of poem. On a Dead Child. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Perfect little body, without fault or stain on thee, with promise of strength, and manhood full and fair. Though cold and stark and bare, the bloom and the charm of life doth a while remain on thee. Thy mother's treasure wert thou, alas, no longer, to visit her heart with wondrous joy, to be thy father's pride. Ah, he must gather his faith together, and his strength make stronger. To me, as I move thee now in the last duty, dost thou with a turn or a gesture anon respond, startling my fancy fond, with a chance attitude of the head, a freak of beauty. Thy hand clasps, as 'twas wont, my finger, and holds it, but the grasp is the clasp of death, heartbreaking and stiff, yet feels to my hand as if 'twas still thy will, thy pleasure and trust that enfolds it. So I lay thee there, thy sunken eyelids closing. Go lie thou there in thy coffin, thy last little bed, propping thy wise, sad head, thy firm, pale hands across thy chest disposing. So quiet, doth the change content thee, Death, whither hath he taken thee? To a world, do I think, that writes the disaster of this, the vision of which I miss, who weep for the body, and wish but to warm thee, and awaken thee. Ah! little at best can all our hopes avail us, to lift this sorrow, or cheer us, when in the dark, unwilling, alone we embark, and the things we have seen, and have known, and have heard of, fail us. Robert Bridges. End of poem. I Never Shall Love the Snow Again. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I never shall love the snow again, since Maurice died. With corniced drift it blocked the lane, and sheeted in a desolate plain the countryside. The trees with silvery rime bed dight, their branches bare. By day no sun appeared, by night the hidden moon shed thievish light in the misty air. We fed the birds that flew around in flocks to be fed. No shelter in holly or brake they found. The speckled thrush on the frozen ground lay frozen and dead. We skated on stream and pond, we cut the crinching snow. To Doric temple or Arctic hut we laughed and sang at nightfall, shut by the fireside glow. Yet grudged we our keen delights before Morris should come. We said, indoor or out of door, we shall love life for a month or more, when he is home. They brought him home, 'twas 2 days late for Christmas Day, wrapped in white, in solemn state, a flower in his hand. All still and straight our Morris lay, and 2 days ere the year outgave, we laid him low. The best of us truly were not brave, when we laid Maurice down in his grave, under the snow. Robert Bridges. End of poem. To My Godchild, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Francis M. W. M. This laboring vast Tellurian galleon, riding at anchor off the orient sun, had broken its cable and stood out to space, down some frore Arctic of the aerial ways, and now back warping from the inclement main, its vaporous shroudage drenched with icy rain. It swung into its azure roads again, when floated on the prosperous sun gale. You lit a white halcyon auspice mid our frozen crew. To the sun, stranger, surely you belong, giver of golden days and golden song. Nor is it by an all unhappy plan you bear the name of me, his constant Magian. Yet from any other that it came, less fated to my face you'd be as to my name. When at the first those tidings did they bring, my heart turned troubled at the ominous thing. Though well may such a title him endower, for whom a poet's prayer implores a poet's power. The Assisian who kept plighted faith to thee, to song, to sanctitude, and poverty, in two alone of whom most singers prove a fatal faithfulness of during love. He the sweet sails, of whom we scarcely ken how God he could love more, he so loved men. The crown and crowned of Laura and Italy, and Fletcher's fellow from these, and not from me. Take you your name, and take your legacy. Or, if a right successive you declare, when worms, for ivies, intertwine my hair, take but this posy, that now followeth, my clayey best with sullen servile breath. Made then your happy freedmen by testating death. My song I do but hold for you in trust. I ask you but blossom from my dust. When you have compassed all week, I begin, diviner poet, and awe diviner man. The man at feud with the purduing child, in you before song's altar nobly reconciled. From the wise heavens I half shall smile to see how little a world which owned you needed me. If while you keep the virgils of the night, for your wild tears made darkness all too bright, some lone orb through your lonely window peeps, as it played lover over your sweet sleeps. Think it a golden crevice in the sky, which I have pierced but to behold you by. And when immortal mortal droops your head, and you, the child of deathless song, are dead, then, as you search with unaccustomed glance the ranks of paradise for my countenance, turn not your tread along the Uranian sod, among the bearded counselors of God. For if in Eden as on earth are we, I shall keep a younger company. Pass where beneath their range gonfalons, the starry cohorts shake their shielded suns. The dreadful mass of their enridged spears pass where majestical the eternal peers. The stately choice of the great saintdom meet, a silver segregation globed complete, in sandaled shadow of the triune feet, pass by where wait young poet wayfarer. Your cousin clusters, emulous to share with you the rosal lightnings burning mid their hair. Past the crystalline sea, the lampads seven look for me in the nurseries of heaven. Francis Thompson. End of poem. When June is come. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. When June is come, then all the day I'll sit with my love in the scented hay, and watch the sunshot palaces high that the white clouds build in the breezy sky. She singeth, and I do make her a song, and read sweet poems the whole day long, unseen as we lie in our hay-built home. Oh, life is delight when June is come. Robert Bridges. End of poem. In Misty Blue, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. In misty blue, the lark is heard above the silent homes of men. The bright-eyed thrush, the little wren, the yellow-billed, sweet-voiced blackbird, mid sallow blossoms blonde as curd, or silver oak boughs, caroling, with happy throat from tree to tree, sing into light this morn of spring, that sang my dear love home to me. Be starry buds of cloistered white around the dark waves of her hair. The young fresh glory you prepare is like my ever fresh delight, when she comes shining on my sight, with meeting eyes, with such a cheek as colors fair like flushing tips of shoots, and music ere she speak lies in the wonder of her lips. Airs of the morning breathe about, keen faint scents of the wildwood side, from thickets where primroses hide, mid the brown leaves of winter's rout, chestnut and willow beacon out, for joy of her from far and nigh, your English green on English hills, above her head, song quivering sky, and at her feet the daffodils. Because she breathed, the world was more, and breath a finer soul to use, and life held lovelier hopes to choose. But oh, to-day my heart brims o'er, earth glows as from a kindled core, like shadows of diviner things, o'er hill and cloud and flower and tree, a splendor that is hers and springs, the day my love came home to me. Lawrence Binyon. End of poem. The Praise of Dust, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. What a vile dust, the preacher said. Methought the whole world woke. The dead stone lived beneath my foot, and my whole body spoke. You that play tyrant to the dust, and stamp its wrinkled face, this patient star that flings you not far into homeless space, come down out of your dusty shrine, the living dust to see. The flowers that at your sermon's end stand blazing silently. Rich white and blood red blossom stones, lichens like fire in crust, a gleam of blue, a glare of gold, the vision of the dust. Pass them all by, till, as you come, where, at city's edge, under a tree, I know it well, under a latticed ledge, the sunshine falls on one brown head, you too, O cold of clay, eater of stones, may haply hear the trumpets of that day, when God to all his paladins by his own splendor swore, to make a fairer face than heaven, of dust and nothing more. G. K. Chesterton. End of poem. In Fountain Court, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The fountain murmuring of sleep, a drowsy tune, the flickering green of leaves that keep the light of June, peace through a slumbering afternoon, the peace of June, a waiting ghost in the blue sky, the white curved moon, June hushed and breathless waits, and I wait too with June, come through the lingering afternoon, soon, love, come soon. Author Symonds. End of poem. Awake my heart to be loved. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Awake my heart to be loved. Awake, awake. The darkness slivers away, the morn doth break. It leaps in the sky, unrisen lustres slake. The o'ertaken moon, awake, O heart, awake. She too that loveth awake and hopes for thee. Her eyes already have sped the shades that flee. Already they watch the path thy feet shall take. Awake, O heart to be loved, awake, awake. And if thou tarry from her, if this could be, she cometh herself, O heart, to be loved to thee. For thee would unashamed herself forsake. Awake to be loved, my heart, awake, awake! Awake! The land is scattered with light, and see, uncanopied sleep is flying from field and tree, and blossoming boughs of April in laughter shake. Awake, O heart to be loved, awake, awake! Lo, all things wake, and tarry, and look for thee. She looketh and saith, O Son, now bring him to me. Come more adored, O adored, for his coming's sake, and awake my heart to be loved, awake, awake! Robert Bridges. End of poem. Ada wishes for the close of heaven. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Had I the heavens embroidered close, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark close of night, and light and the half light, I would spread the clothes under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. Beauty. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I have seen dawn and sunset on moors and windy hills, coming in solemn beauty like slow old tunes of Spain. I have seen the Lady April bringing the daffodils, bringing the springing grass and the soft warm April rain. I have heard the song of the blossoms and the old chant of the sea, and seen strange lands from under the arched white sails of ships. But the loveliest things of beauty God ever has showed to me are her voice, and her hair and eyes, and the dear red curve of her lips. John Masefield. End of poem. My Wife. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Trusty, dusky, vivid, true, with eyes of gold and bramble dew, steel true and blade straight, the great artificer made my mate. Honor, anger, valor, fire, a love that life could never tire, death quench or evil stir, the mighty master gave to her. Teacher, tender, comrade, wife, a fellow farer, true through life, heart whole and soul free, the august Father gave to me. Robert Louis Stevenson. End of poem. From Love in the Valley, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Shy as the squirrel and wayward as the swallow, swift as the swallow along the river's light, circling the surface to meet his mirrored winglets, fleeter she seems in her stay than in her flight. Shy as the squirrel that leaps among the pine tops, wayward as a swallow overhead as set of sun, She whom I love is hard to catch and conquer, hard, but oh the glory of the winning were she won. Heartless she is as the shadow in the meadows, flying to the hills on a blue and breezy noon. No, she is athirst, and drinking up her wonder. Earth to her is young as the slip of the new moon. Deals she an unkindness, 'tis but her rapid measure, even as in a dance, and her smile can heal no less. Like the swinging May cloud that pelts the flowers with hailstones, off a sunny border she was made to bruise and bless. Stepping down the hill with her fair companions, arm in arm, all against the raying west. Boldly she sings, to the merry tune she marches. Braver is her shape, and sweeter unpossessed. Sweeter, for she is what my heart first waking whispered the world was. Morning light is she. Love that so desires would fain keep her changeless, fain would fling the net, and fain have her free. Happy, happy time when the white star hovers low over dim fields fresh with bloomy dew, near the face of dawn that draws athwart the darkness, threading it with color like yew berries the yew. Thicker crowd the shades as the grave east deepens, glowing, and with crimson a long cloud swells. Maiden still the morn is, and strange she is, and secret. Strange her eyes, her cheeks are cold as cold sea shells. Peering at her chamber, the white crowns the red rose. Jasmine winds the porch with stars 2 and 3. Parted is the window, she sleeps, the starry jasmine breathes a falling breath that carries thoughts of me. Sweeter unpossessed, have I said of her my sweetness? Not while she sleeps, the jasmine breeze, luring her to love, she sleeps, the starry jasmine, bears me to her pillow, under white rose wreaths. George Meredith. End of poem. To the Beloved, Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Oh, not more subtly silence strays amongst the winds, beneath the voices, mingling alike with pensive lays, and with the music that rejoices. Then thou art present in my days. My silence, life returns to thee, in all the pauses of her breath. Hush back to rest the melody, that out of thee awaketh, and thou, wake ever, wake for me. Thou art like silence all unvexed, though wild words part my soul from thee. Thou art like silence unperplexed, a secret and a mystery, between one footfall and the next. Most dear pause in a mellow lay, thou art inwoven with every air. With thee the wildest tempest play, and snatches of thee everywhere make little heavens throughout a day. Darkness and solitude shine for me, for life's fair outward part are rife. The silver noises, let them be. It is the very soul of life. Listen for thee, listens for thee. O pause between the sobs of cares, O thought within all thought that is, trance between laughters unawares, thou art the shape of melodies, and thou the ecstasy of prayers. Alice Meynell. End of poem. When You Are Old. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. When you are old and gray and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book, and slowly read, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur, a little sadly, how love fled, and placed upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face among a crowd of stars. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. I Will Not Let Thee Go. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I will not let thee go. Ends all our month-long love in this? Can it be summed up so? Quit in a single kiss. I will not let thee go. I will not let thee go. If thy word's breath could scare thy deeds, as the soft south can blow, and toss the feathered seeds, then might I let thee go. I will not let thee go. Had not the great sun seen, I might, or were he reckoned slow to bring the false to light, then might I let thee go. I will not let thee go. The stars that crowd the summer skies have watched us so below, with all their million eyes. I dare not let thee go. I will not let thee go. Have we not chid the changeful moon, now rising late, and now, because she set too soon? And shall I let thee go? I will not let thee go. Have not the young flowers been content, plucked ere their buds could blow, to seal our sacrament? I cannot let thee go. I will not let thee go. I hold thee by too many hands. Thou sayest farewell, and lo! I have thee by the hands, and I will not let thee go. Robert Bridges. End of poem. Parted. Poems of Today. An anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Farewell to one now silenced quite, sent out of hearing, out of sight. My friend of friends, whom I shall miss, he is not banished, though, for this, nor he nor sadness nor delight. Though I shall talk with him no more, a low voice sounds upon the shore. He must not watch my resting place, but who shall drive a mournful face from the sad winds about my door? I shall not hear his voice complain, but who shall stop the patient rain? His tears must not disturb my heart, but who shall change the years and part the world from every thought of pain? Although my life is left so dim, The morning crowns the mountain rim. Joy is not gone from summer skies, nor innocence from children's eyes, and all these things are part of him. He is not banished for the showers, yet wake this green warm earth of ours. How can the summer but be sweet? I shall not have him at my feet, and yet my feet are on the flowers. Alice Meynell. End of poem. Elegy on a lady, whom grief for the death of her betrothed killed. Poems of the Day, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Assemble, all ye maidens at the door, and all ye loves assemble far and wide. Proclaim the bridal that proclaimed before has been deferred to this late eventide. For on this night the bride, the days of her betrothal over, leaves the parental hearth for evermore. Tonight the bride goes forth to meet her lover. Reach down the wedding vesture that has lain, yet all unvisited, the silken gown. Bring out the bracelets and the golden chain, her dearer friends provided, sere and brown. Bring out the festal crown, and set it on her forehead lightly. Though it be withered, twine no wreath again. This only is the crown she can wear rightly. Cloak her in ermine, for the night is cold, and wrap her warmly, for the night is long. In pious hands the flaming torches hold, while her attendants, chosen from among her faithful virgin throng, may lay her in her cedar litter, decking her coverlet with sprigs of gold, roses and lilies white that best befit her. Sound flute and tabor, that the bridal be, not without music, nor with these alone, but let the viol lead the melody, with lesser intervals and plaintive moan of sinking semitone, and all in choir the virgin voices rest not from singing in skilled harmony the song that aye the bridegroom's ear rejoices. Let the priest go before, arrayed in white, and let the dark-stoled minstrels follow slow. Next they that bear her honor on this night, and then the maidens in a double row, each singing soft and low, and each on high a torch upstaying, unto her lover lead her forth with light, with music, and with singing, and with praying. 'Twas at this sheltering hour he nightly came, and found her trusty window open wide, and knew the signal of the timorous flame, that long the restless curtain would not hide her form that stood beside, as scarce she dared to be delighted, listening to that sweet tale that is no shame to faithful lovers that their hearts had plighted. But now for many days the dewy grass has shown no markings of his feet at morn, and watching she has seen no shadow pass the moonlight walk, and heard no music borne upon her ear forlorn. In vain she has looked out to greet him, he has not come, he will not come, alas! So let us bear her out where she must meet him. Now to the river bank the priests are come, the bark is ready to receive its freight. Let some prepare her place therein, and some embark the litter with its slender weight. The rest stand by in state, and sing her a safe passage over, while she is oared across to her new home, into the arms of her expectant lover. And thou, O lover, that art on the watch, where on the banks of the forgetful streams the pale indifferent ghosts wander, and snatch the sweeter moments of their broken dreams, thou, when the torchlight gleams, when thou shalt see the slow procession, and when thine ears the fitful music catch, rejoice, for thou art near to thy possession. Robert Bridges. End of poem. An epitaph. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Here lies a most beautiful lady. Light of step and heart was she. I think she was the most beautiful lady that ever was in the West Country. But beauty vanishes, beauty passes, however rare it be. And when I crumble, who will remember this lady of the West Country? Walter de la Mare. End of poem. A Dream of Death. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. I dreamed that one had died in a strange place, near no accustomed hand, and they had nailed the boards above her face, the peasants of that land, and wondering, planted by her solitude, a cypress and a yew, I came, and wrote upon a cross of wood, man had no more to do. She was more beautiful than thy first love, this lady by the trees, and gazed upon the mournful stars above, and heard the mournful breeze. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. A Dream of a Blessed Spirit. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. All the heavy days are over. Leave the body's colored pride underneath the grass and clover, with the feet laid side by side. One with her are mirth and duty. Bear the gold embroidered dress, for she needs not her sad beauty to the scented oaken press. Hers the kiss of Molly Mary, the long hair is on her face. Still she goes with footsteps wary, full of earth's old timid grace. With white feet of angels seven, her white feet go glimmering, and above the deep of heaven, flame on flame and wing on wing. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. Messages. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. What shall I your true love tell, earth forsaken maid? What shall I your true love tell, when life's spectres laid? Tell him that, our side the grave, maid may not conceive. Life should be so sad to have, that so sad to leave. What shall I your true love tell, when I come to him? What shall I your true love tell, eyes growing dim? Tell him this, when you shall part from a maiden pined, that I see him with my heart, now my eyes are blind. What shall I your true love tell, speaking while is scant? What shall I your true love tell, death's white postulant? Tell him, love, with speech at strife, for last uttereth saith, I, who loved with all my life, love with all my death. Francis Thompson. End of poem. The Folly of Being Comforted. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. One that is ever kind said yesterday, your well-beloved's hair has threads of gray, and little shadows come about her eyes. Time can but make it easier to be wise. Though now it's hard, till trouble is at an end. And so be patient, be wise and patient, friend. But heart, there is no comfort, not a grain. Time can but make her beauty over again. Because of that great nobleness of hers, the fire that stirs about her when she stirs burns but more clearly. Oh, she had not these ways when all the wild summer was in her gaze. Oh heart, if she'd but turn her head, you'd know the folly of being comforted. W. B. Yeats. End of poem. At Night. Poems of Today, an anthology by various authors. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Home, home, from the horizon far and clear, hither the soft wings sweep. Flocks of the memories of the day draw near, the dovecote doors of sleep. Oh, which are they that come through sweetest light of all these homing birds, which with the straightest and the swiftest flight, your words to me, your words. Alice Meynell. End of poem. End of poems of Today, an anthology by various authors.